Rebekah the Ghost Guide possesses a skill that very few humans will ever understand. She can talk to ghosts.
What do I have to do to get you to say something? Did you just hear a ghost?
If that wasn't convincing enough, Rebekah didn't just hear ghosts, she also saw them. These ghosts would appear as orbs, aka a three-dimensional ball of light. You see, muggles like you and I rationalize orbs as either lens flares, pollen, moisture, or dust particles. To a clairvoyant like Rebekah, however, orbs are thought to be the simplest form of a spirit's manifestation. Although Rebekah's ghost whispering abilities transcended the physical world, she didn't just gain these superpowers overnight. Her work in the ghost industry started with humble beginnings.
For those of you who don't know, I'm a ghost tour guide here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I'll be honest, I didn't always take the story seriously. Wow, did I learn. I had had a rough day, my family was in town, and I was just stressed. And while I was kind of getting the feeling that something may have been following back home, I just kind of wasn't listening to my intuition. On my way back home, and then when I got back home, I felt like the air was really thick in my house. But once again, not being so smart, I just tried to go to sleep. That night, some of the worst nightmares I've ever had in my life. I woke up around 3 a.m. and I was absolutely petrified. And the worst thing about it was like something was in my head telling me lies, terrible lies about the friends and family I had around me.
Thankfully, not all of the ghosts Rebekah met were evil. There was even one she fell in love with.
Following is a reenactment of a true story that happened to me. P.S. The other person is a ghost. Thank you for coming on my tour and have a great night. Hey, George. Good evening. Is it me, or do things feel kind of strange tonight? It is not just you. So, what's happening on your side? The spirits are picking up on what the physical are putting out, and the energy is high. I've been feeling it too. I don't like it. Would you permit me to walk you to the end of the square? Yeah, thank you.
Although George the Ghost initially seemed to be quite polite, Rebekah would eventually discover his dark side, which included abusive language and non-consensual contact.
We found out that he did not like any sort of proof of his existence. He even enjoyed the idea that people might think I was crazy. He was too close, and he came through too strongly. There should always be boundaries with anyone, and he was not respecting mine.
After denying George's unwanted advances, Rebekah and her friends decided it was time to leave.
Bye. No, we're leaving. No, that's uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable, isn't it?
I don't like that.
No.
That's an unfortunate statement to make.
At last, Rebekah was free.
You will never hold power over me again.
Since she was now free from George's abusive behavior, Rebekah decided to share her story online.
Was it a slow progression of realizing George was a narcissist? Yes. I have had other close people in my life who were narcissists, and I didn't realize all the warning signs. And I especially didn't expect them from a ghost.
However, not everyone was as big on ghosts as Rebekah was. Jesus, protect everyone watching this video, amen. Not saying you can't see ghosts, but what if there was just a homeless man with dementia or something? On the other hand, some found themselves in a similar situation to Rebekah. I had two past lives in the 1800s and 1910s to 1930s. In the 1800s, I was a daughter of a baker, but died because of tuberculosis after marrying a fairly well-off lawyer's son. The second life, I was in the military and died from a cannonball hitting me. I actually met someone who confirmed this life for me when I told them about my dream, and they were able to describe the place and scene. Apparently, they were my lieutenant and died with and beside me. I honestly started to cry. I'm not sure why I got so upset, but I had a strong feeling like I failed them, but they assured me I did everything I could during that life. It's even cooler that someone from my past is now alive with me in this life, and I know them. Despite her critics, comments like these showed that Rebekah's content was clearly resonating with people and leaving a lasting impact on many. To build on this, Rebekah made a video calling out parents who forced their ghost-denying beliefs on their children.
If a kid comes to you and is like, hey, I keep seeing this house, but the walls are a different color. Why not try and work with them to find out if there's any legitimacy to that? How does that hurt you?
Can't put your perception of what you think it is on somebody else's perception.
Yes.
Especially a child.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Creating a safe space to connect with ghosts was very important to Rebekah, as without one, parents were at risk of stunting their children's abilities to communicate with the supernatural.
What your kid is experiencing is scary to you, and you try to push it down as a, hey, I don't believe in that, and you shouldn't either, and whatever that over there is in the corner isn't actually there. Your kid may start to shut down their abilities, but what happens is they start up in other places. So if you're thinking, oh, what my kid is doing is freaking me out, I'll just make them feel like it's so fake that they have to shut it down. That's not the way it works. You can't fight it. It's a matter of, you can either empower them to understand it and give them a space where they feel safe to talk to you, or you can try and shut it down. It doesn't shut down, and honestly, it gives them issues later.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Rebekah was able to overcome these issues and eventually fell in love. The question is, was it with a human or a ghost? Well, why not both?
This is Rebekah. She fell in love with Katharyn. But before meeting, Rebekah was already in a relationship with Rupert, a ghost.
Are you here by Rebekah?
For Rebekah and Rupert, it was love at first fright.
His name is Rupert. I met him in front of a local historic home. He was a Revolutionary War soldier. He is originally from Wales, and when I met him, he was wearing a red coat. He was standing right here. I was walking past. It was following a ghost tour that I had just led, and he called out to me, and he asked me if I was walking home alone. He asked if he could escort me.
Clearly, Rupert was more of a gentleman, or should I say, gentle ghost, than Rebekah's ex George, and was very big on consent.
He's always very clear on boundaries, on wanting consent. He never wanted to press being inside or anything like that.
Whether you believe in ghosts or not, you have to admit, Rebekah and Rupert's chemistry was simply undeniable. According to Rebekah, this was because her and Rupert had already met before. 200 years ago, that is.
Did a past life regression, and I did know him. I knew him back in 1781 when he was stationed here as a part of the 82nd Regiment. He and I used to be married when he was alive. I've had this cross-validated from other hypnotists and psychic mediums.
Although Rebekah gladly shared her relationship with Rupert to the world, there were some things she'd rather keep private.
What is your intimate and sexual relationship like with Rupert?
Exactly, no. Rupert and I are primarily sharing emotions because of the very clear physical differences between us.
Since Rupert couldn't satisfy her physical needs, Rebekah decided it was time to experience the best of both worlds.
I need to live a life here in my present, so that's where, well, the open-mindedness to you came into play.
We met on TikTok. I found Rebekah and I thought, wow, this is great.
Rebekah would also introduce Katharyn to her world of ghosts.
I took you on a tour. It was like 11 p.m. at night and we're walking around downtown and I was like, this is where this happened and this is where this happened. You met Rupert that night.
I met Molly.
You met Molly, Jimothy, George.
I met everybody. I got to meet all of those ghosts.
Not everything was sunshine and rainbows for the couple though, as Katharyn seemed to have a hidden resentment for Rupert.
How do you balance your friendship with Rupert without getting jealous?
Rupert and I are friends. There's no jealousy. I have such respect for the work that was done, for the connection that they have. If anything, I feel like excitement and pride for the both of them.
You went to him and you checked with him on things.
I did.
You told him your feelings for me before you told me.
I did.
You really?
I absolutely did. I was like, please don't hate me. But
Rupert communicated with the couple in various ways, one of which was by switching off house lights.
Wow. Somebody has something to say about that. Can you chill the now.
In order to respond to Rupert, the couple used the radio scanner, also known as an S-box, short for spirit box.
This is an S-box. It is one of my favorite pieces of equipment that I have. As it scans through radio signals, it's giving a white noise that they can either pull sound from to respond with using the radio signals coming through, or it'll come through the static. Hi, Rupert.
Where are you sitting right now?
On this chair.
Rupert also had some crazy unspoken riz.
How do you feel about your relationship with me?
I love you.
Is that what that was?
I think that's what it said.
Sadly, Rupert didn't feel as strongly about Katharyn.
How do you feel about Katharyn? How do you feel about how we get along? All of us.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I heard I'm fine.
Although the throuple had developed somewhat of a love triangle, Rebekah and Katharyn were devoted to staying loyal to each other.
What I love about you the most is how you make me feel seen. I don't worry about the future with you. I'm so caught up in how happy I am in the present.
Rebekah and Katharyn's relationship can only be described as a modern-day love story. Thanks to Katharyn, Rebekah has managed to survive ghost heartbreak, ghost murder attempts, and even ghost SA. With a thriving TikTok, merch shop, and ghost hunting course, the future looks bright for the couple, especially with Rupert right by their side.